the Nashville Predators, fifth in the Central last year, 18th out of 32 teams. Last time in the playoffs was 2022, swept by Colorado in the first round. They're 75-1 to win the Cup this year. They got some new faces in town. Head coach Andrew Brunette, Ryan O'Reilly signed there, Gustav Nyquist, Dennis Gurianov, and Luke Shen. They said bye to Matt Duchene, Ryan Johansson, Zach Sanford, and Cal Foote. A couple of big names from the last few years of the Preds are gone. A little under $8 million in cap space, but we were just talking about this, Whit, sort of what we call the flyer zone. You're not good enough to win a cup. You're not bad enough to go for the lottery. You're kind of in that no man's land. So what's on tap for the Preds this year, Whit Dog?
I think if they didn't have Saros and Yossi, they're like one of the worst teams in the league. And Biz calls out the Islanders for being boring. Yes, Yossi does some amazing things, and Saros is just always kicking. It seems like he's top 3 goalie in the league, but I get nothing out of watching Nashville play. I feel bad saying that. Unreal fans, great building to watch a game, but in terms of this year, I mean, there's not much to be excited about, is there? Imagine if Saros got injured. Knock on wood, 1, 2, 3. I mean, this team, like, Ryan O'Reilly's an amazing leader, and in terms of like younger players, he's perfect to help them learn what it's like to be a pro and learn how to approach each game. But he had 30 points last year, and then I know they bought out Duchene, right? I think he's going to be great in Dallas, but they lose a bunch of offense there. It's just a team that's really stuck right now, and I don't know how they end up going about things. I don't know their draft pick setup, but it's just kind of a time of like, they're not making playoffs. Would you guys agree? Do any of you have them in the playoffs? No. I don't even have them close. This is another team I'd rather be Arizona than. I'd rather be Arizona than Nashville, because it seems like it's long enough where you're just stuck in mediocrity. And I know it was a while ago they went to the Stanley Cup final and they've had some decent runs, but when was the last time Nashville got out of the first round? Was it 2018? 19 maybe?
I think they missed the playoffs last year for the first time in 14 years, wasn't it? Maybe it was 11. Maybe I'm over-exaggering here.
I know, but I agree with you.
It's 2014 was the last time they missed the playoffs, Biz, yeah.
But even if you're making it, it's the same thing. It's the Flyers. And I love the hockey market. I really do. And Trotz comes back. And I think that what's his name? The new coach,
Brunette.
Maybe they get some more offense out of him being the coach and letting guys play a little more free. But I don't see a ton going on. I really don't. The one kid I loved last year, and I got to look up his name right now. He was almost a point per game. What's his name?
Is it Juuso Parssinen?
Yes. No.
Yeah. He came in and had the between the leg goal that went viral. They got some good young guys. You got to remember, they made a run at the end of the season last year. Yeah, but
that's like the Edmonton Oilers used to do. Everybody's playing loosey-goosey. So if you're the Nashville Predators, you bring in these wily veterans, like you mentioned Ryan O'Reilly. You got Luke Shen in there as a little bit of protection. I think their top 4 defense are very respectable. I think that their goaltending's respectable, and you just really need to hope some of these young guys they have in the lineup, because you look up and down as far as their forward group, there's a shit ton of young guys. You got to hope about 3 or 4 of them pop and really set to become good solid NHLers. But other than that, boys, they're not making playoffs, and they're very, very thin up front.
I guess you're right. If a couple young guys that a lot of people don't know a ton about, even including us, like if they pop off, who knows what happens? And I think an offensive coach could make a huge difference, but you can't rely on something like that. And even some things I read, like the Novak, he could take a step back, because if you look at underlying numbers, they're not great. But it's just kind of one of those teams where you're just like, yeah, I love Saros kicking and Yossi's a top defenseman. But other than that, it doesn't excite me when their games are on TV. I hate to say it.
Merles, what do you got on in Nashville?
Yeah, no playoffs for me. But again, look at the home games. We saw what Nashville did to us. It's very, very easy to have that extra beer. Then all of a sudden you have an extra one.
Yeah, so going in there, taking them lightly.
Okay, you know what guy we should mention? Cody Glass.
Yeah,
Cody
awesome.
Glass. He's going to get a chance to play possible first-line minutes, because if O'Reilly starts off as the first-line center, maybe Glass just busts through, no pun intended, and forces himself into first-line minutes. High pick, I think 6th overall. Hopefully that's a guy that could take a huge step. That's somebody who maybe he turns into a stud and could get this team much higher than we anticipate them being. But it's just a lot of question marks going in.
Tommy Novak, he's 14th in points per 60 minutes at 5-on-5 play. It's pretty good for a young kid like that. And Saros, he had 63 starts last year, led the NHL goalies in minutes, shots against, and saves. He's got 2 years left at $5 million per, 130 starts the last 2 seasons. That's a lot. I don't know if Kevin Lankinen's going to get a few more starts this year. But honestly, man, the new coach, the low expectations, I think they're going to surprise people. And I do see Nashville getting one of the spots in this division.
Wow.
So
you got to make them fucking playoffs? I think you're out of your fucking mind.
How much you want to bet?
That's nothing new here, Biz, but yeah, I don't know. I think people are kind of underestimating him. Obviously, I'm a big Saros guy, but nobody else has him in. Correct, Mundo?
No. Do we got a
I'd
wager
like
there with? Did I hear a
side bet
wager? Yeah.
I'd like to make a side bet that the Coyotes finish with more points than them.
Ooh. All right, have your guy call my guy. We'll get to it a little bit later.
Deal. I'll have to think of the odds, though.
But one other thing, too, if they are out of the race early in, say, 2024, new GM Barry Trotz, would he part with a guy like Saros? I mean, like I said, 2 years left. Yossi's got 5 years left at $9 million. I mean, if they're looking in this rebuild stage, will either one of these guys want to look to go elsewhere or what? Biz.
So you're looking at them kind of like the Winnipeg Jets, right? You have these two huge. I don't think they're moving on from Yossi. I think he's staying there. He's the captain, the leadership. He's going to be able to help these young guys out. But yeah, I mean, if the goaltending market come deadline time is that hungry, and I don't know what his contract situation is, but I think he's got a pretty good AAV as well. He's probably in that Gibson range.
Saros. 2 years left at $5 million per.
Yeah, that's a good bargain for getting an elite goaltender. So between him, Hellebuck, and Gibson, yeah, there's some healthy goaltenders out there for teams who should look to part ways and build for the future.
Well, they're not going to because they'll be in the playoff hunt.